Well, good afternoon, everybody. I want to thank you so much for joining us for today's webinar, April Showers Bring Math Powers. My name is Lynn Walker, and I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Wowzers, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar. For those of you who are maybe just starting to learn about Wowzers, I'm going to give you a very brief and abbreviated version and description before I turn it over to my colleague, Soraya Wilkes. So Wowzers is a personalized and comprehensive math curriculum. It's based on scientific and brain research. It aligns to state and federal standards and provides real-time data to help monitor progress. And it provides a host of different support materials that can be also added into the program. And I'm not going to go any further because then I would steal the thunder of my wonderful colleague. So let me take a second and introduce you to today's presenter. Soraya Wilkes has been with Wowzers since its inception, and she is a wealth of knowledge on math and education technology. And prior to her joining Wowzers, she was instrumental in building Brain Hurricane, which was a premier provider for after-school tutoring in the No Child Left Behind days. So like I said, she's an amazing wealth of knowledge, and that's why she's presenting. And I'm thrilled to turn it over to today's presenter. So April Showers Bring Math Showers. And in some cases, to our dismay, Soraya, it can be in the form of snow from where you and I are located. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Soraya, and thanks for presenting.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction, Lynn. So I'm just going to swap screens here. Okay. So thank you everyone for tuning in to our reports webinar. I'm super excited to be able to present this to you. And I think in all the years that I've had with Wowzers, something that always comes up from teachers and administrators is I have all of this data, but how do we actually put it into action? So that's really the goal of this webinar today, is to show you the reports that Wowzers has to offer and show you how to personalize learning for your students based on the data that we can provide you and overall really save you time. And I also just want to thank all the educators that we've worked with throughout the years, because really all of these reports are results of ideas that you have helped us come up with and being able to present data in many different ways to you guys. So we're logged in right into the Wowzers account, and just something that we recently have done is we accumulated all of our reports in just one area. So it's called the Reports tab. Every report that's available in Wowzers is located under here. And we'll go right in the order of what we have. We have 7 reports available in total, both on school level, classroom level, and individual student levels. So the first report we see here is the summative report. So the summative report provides useful metrics about student usage, performance, and growth in a really easy format. So the first thing you'll want to do is select your reference date. So this will always default to today's date, but let's say you started your pilot of Wowzers and or trial of Wowzers on March 1st. So you can select the date March 1st. Select your organization level. So this will vary based on the type of login access you have. So we have teacher logins, which you'll only actually see the classroom option. You have administrator login, whether that's a principal or district level. So you'll have different types of reports you can pull. And then you'll want to click Print Summative Report. Once you click Summative Report, it will send you an email with this report, and I have it right here ready to go to kind of go over what it's going to look like. So in our summative report, this one in particular is a classroom. Some of the first things you'll see is the name of the classroom, the grade level, the number of students in that classroom. This accuracy average number here is representative of those 10 students in this classroom. Now had this report been a school level or a district level, you'll see a larger number of students, and it takes a summative number of everyone in the school or district. The next pieces here are the overall averages. So we have overall averages in 3 different areas. So from today, based on the reference date you chose, and from that date, that last 7 days, the last 30 days, and then quarter to date. So all of this is broken down by that reference date. and you're going to get average accuracy from, again, those reference dates. The next thing you'll see here is the student's performance, which is broken down by the subject matter. And if it's empty, it's simply just because the student hasn't gotten there yet. So this report is really helpful for seeing overall trends at a glance and being able to monitor progress. So this is a report I highly recommend to administrators if you just want to see, okay, what's happening in this classroom, school, or district. As you can see here, the goal is seeing some growth. So in the last 7 days, the accuracy was at 69%, but as of today, it's at 72%. So you can, off the bat, see that immediate growth. So that is the summative report. The next report is the standards report. So this one is an actionable one, actually my favorite reports, and one that I'm going to cover last because I'm going to use this as an example with a lot of the teachers I work with and how they use this. The next report we have under that is the usage report. So the usage report is quite important in Wowzers because a lot of the research that we do have is tied to usage. The more usage, the more improvement you're going to see in test scores and math scores. So here, when you click on that, you can hover over, and this is for classroom, so you can see all of the different students and how many hours they've spent in Wowzers. You can also choose to enter your start and end date to maybe just check how much usage for the month and etc. You can also check this box off here, and it'll show you a line graph of usage. And then up here, this would only show up usage for school if you're an administrator, and then it'll show you every single classroom's usage. So that is the usage, very simple, easy to read report. The other report after that is the quiz scores report. So here's another report that you can click through. We're going to click on view quiz scores. And you have a couple options. You can view your quiz scores by sections. So Wowzers is divided into sections. You want to think of these as weeks, and or by students. So to show you a good example here, this student Moselle, for example, you'll be able to see all of their quiz scores for every single section they've completed in Wowzers. So this student, for the most part, completed almost all of 8th grade. And this is a neat report because not only is it color coded, you can quickly identify, okay, where should I put my attention? Let's focus on this one red one here. You can also click through it. So this student got 1 question out of 7. So we'll be able to click on that percentage and actually review the assessment itself. We can see what the student answered, what they answered incorrectly, and then you have options to print the whole quiz out or just print out the incorrect to save some paper. That is the quiz score report. We'll go back to the rest of the reports here. And the next one is a total section report. So this one's actually fairly new for us. The total section report breaks down student performance by grade and section. At an organization level, you can see how your performance is changing over time. And once again, you have the options to print this out in a classroom level, school level, or district level. So I'll go back to my reports document here, which I will share with everybody after this call because it really summarizes all of the reports Wowzers has available. So as you can see here, this report is designed to provide a comprehensive amount of data on student performance in an Excel file. So you can see the overall sections that are completed. These are all of the scores here, and they're neatly organized for you by grade level. So you can click on the tabs here, and they're designed easily to be able to be imported into a gradebook or analyzed in greater detail using Excel.
Soraya, I can't see your Excel spreadsheet.
Oh, it's right here. It's not an actual, it's just on the document. I don't have the actual Excel.
I don't think we're able to see that on the screen. I just got a chat in from one of our participants.
You don't see the type of reports document right now?
No, I just see the Wowzers report tab. Just a little.
Okay.
We can share that after the call, but I just didn't know if you had a strange technology. Go ahead.
No, I think I know what's happening. All right, let's try this. Can you see that now?
I can see Soraya's notes.
No. Okay, give me one more second
Sure.
to try again. Okay.
There it is.
All right, so this was the total section report. So that means that nobody then saw the summative report.
Right.
So I will scroll back up here to show that very briefly again. So this was
Perfect.
the summative report. And again, I will share this document with everyone on this call so you can have this offhand, because it gives you a quick explanation and then a screenshot of the actual report, which this report in particular you'll receive via email. The other one, which we were just talking about, the total section report, you will get right off the screen. It'll download and show up in the corner of your screen.
Perfect.
All right. Well, glad you caught that. Okay, so we were at total section report. And then the last two here are the student reports. So these are reports available on a student basis. So we have an activity report and we have a progress report. So activity report, again, is a really good way to see everything the student's been working on. You can hide particular months if you just want to maybe see a particular month, and you can see exactly when the student completed it, the activity they completed, their score, and exactly how much time they spent on that activity. Because sometimes this is a good report to drill into if a particular student maybe is having some difficulty. Sometimes this time spent on a particular activity is going to give you some more insight of why the student is performing in that way. So activity report, and this is downloadable in a CSV format. And this is, again, easy copy and paste into your gradebook. And then the other report is the progress report. So this progress report is offered in various different ways. The first one is just the overall content progress report. So you can select your state standards. Wowzers does align to every single state standard. I have it on Ohio, as I was just working with the school in Ohio. And you can see here the student's progress overall in the 8th grade standards of Ohio. And then one neat thing you can do here is, okay, let's say we pull this report. I actually just want to see the standards they haven't worked on. So when I uncheck these here, I can identify quickly, okay, this student hasn't worked on these 3 standards. So that is the content. The other level of progress reporting this will do is for the pre and post assessment. So Wowzers does have pre and post assessments available for grades 3 through 8 that you can decide to use at any point during the program. And this is where your data will be collected. It looks very similar to the content, but what's really neat is once they do complete the pre and post, we have a compare assessments report. And unfortunately, this isn't filled in, but the idea is that it's going to show you, what the students completed in the pre and then the post. So to give you another little bit of an example of that, we have a couple schools that would take the Wowzers pre-test. They'll take it midterm as well, and then post. So this is what it actually looks like. So for it's considered day 1 is the pre-test. And then we have, this one is the pre-test and the midterm that they took in December. So here you can quickly identify, and this is, again, it's a PDF, but you can copy and paste it into a spreadsheet, and you can see if they've made any gains, which a lot of students have. And then we have the final here. The final is the pre-test and the post-test that was given at the end of the year. So this is really how this report would print out if you choose to use it. And then the neat thing about our progress or our pre and post test is that it will suggest a personalized learning plan for your student. So you can choose to have each student working on specifically what they need help in. And then going back to the reports, so we covered all reports except for the standards report, and really I saved that for last because it is probably my favorite and I think the best report Wowzers has to offer, in particular for teachers, because this is a report a lot of our teachers use, I would say, on a weekly basis. And the reason for that is because it's actionable data. It gives it to you in a really organized fashion. So right when I clicked on this, I want you to think of this page almost as a spreadsheet. So on the left-hand side here, we have the standards. And then on the right-hand side, we have the sort of the columns you're going to be able to sort through. So if you hover over these icons, you can see in this particular icon means that a student has mastered the standard. And then this would mean someone who needs to revisit. So anyone needing to revisit a standard in Wowzers is currently scoring 70% or less. So we can do this in two different ways. So let's say we want to identify students that have mastered the standards. These arrows right next to the symbols, think of it as your sort options in a spreadsheet. You can quickly see I have 8 students that are mastering this standard that was covered in section 816. But on the other hand, I also have 2 students that are struggling on this particular standard. So I can choose to do a couple things. One, I can move these 8 students and challenge them with higher level content, or I can address these 2 students and maybe have them redo this section. So for this example, let's address these 2 students. I'm going to click on the number 2. One, it's going to identify who these students are. Their scores are well under 70%. So what I would do here is click select all students. I'm going to now create a group. And generally I recommend maybe naming the group the name of the standard and or the section. So I'll just put that right in, check the box, click save changes. And the next page you're going to see is where you drop in the content. So since this was 816, I'm just going to go in and drop section 816 in just for these 2 students who need to revisit this section. So it's simple drag and drop. We're going to click save. And then the next thing you're going to see is just where should these students go? Should they move to this new path that you just created or stay where they are? We want to move them to the start. And what's going to happen next is these students will finish what they're currently working on. Let's say you're doing this mid-class. Then they're going to go back to 816. Once they're done with 816, they will go back to wherever they left off in their classroom lesson plans. And this, again, is a report teachers use, I would say, on a weekly basis, just because this data is real time. So it's actually updated as the student is progressing through Wowzers. So even if you did want to use this report on a daily basis, that information would be current. And the last thing I'll mention here, if you're unaware, Wowzers has recently partnered with NWEA. So this is a new piece of Wowzers that will allow RIT scores to be automatically synced into our program and create personalized learning paths based on those scores. So if you are interested in any of that NWEA information, you can just go to our website. It's just wowzers.com/NWEA for more information. And Lynn, I think I covered all of the reports, and I really hope that you found these reports helpful. As I said, our goal is to be able to provide reports with actionable data to help you personalize learning for your students.
I think that is great. Thank you so much. I will say that we do have a couple of questions here, and I thought we'd get to them. And we can kind of go from there. First of all, one, do you work with Clever? A question from Michelle. Thank you for your question. Do you work with Clever? Do you want to address that?
Yeah, sure. I think right now we've worked with Clever in the past, and it's something that we're working on right now to have set up for next school year.
Great. And then one of the questions that came in, and I'll read it, can you provide assistance on when to best use your pre and post assessments?
Sure. I mean, as I kind of talked about it when I was showing the example, which is a lot of schools tend to use it in the beginning of the school year, and then you can use it as you see fit. It's an assessment you can assign at any point during the Wowzers program, and at any grade level as well, for 3rd through 8th grade, and you'll be able to pull these reports that are going to show you their pre and post test assessments.
Yeah, and I'll just fill in one of the things that I think is such a valuable tool, especially after kids are coming off summer break and back to school starts, that many of our customers start and throughout the year. So using that pre-assessment right after summer and identifying those kids that maybe have dropped off due to summer slide, as we all know, it would be a great added value. And then creating that midterm is also great because you just don't know how much they're absorbing. So I agree. I really like the quiz report, so you can really drill down into the content that the students are needing more assistance on. So of course I'm visual, so that helps me tremendously. And then you mentioned many of the different formats that the reports come in. And you also mentioned the grade book. Do you know by chance which grade books they automatically or they work with?
Specifically the grade books, I'm not sure. I just know a lot of teachers like to just quick copy and paste. And the best format for that is CSV. But then we also have teachers that like the PDF format. So that's why we have both. For the most part, all reports have both of those options to be able to input into their digital grade books.
Perfect. Sure. Well, I think we're at just about done with our time, a little bit early, and we can obviously stay on. I did want to make sure that everybody had an opportunity. If they had questions and we didn't get to them, please reach out to us. Our website is www.wowzers.com, or you can always, if you're interested in learning more and kind of going into a deeper dive with these reports or any other part of our program, we would encourage you to email us at sales@wowzers.com, and we can absolutely schedule a time to meet with you and your teams and share more information. And then based on your attendance, everybody is eligible to receive a 50% discount for an annual subscription to Wowzers. We are providing lots of opportunities for organized schools and districts to pilot our program over the summer. So if that's something that you're also interested in, please let us know. But Soraya, thank you so much for being our presenter. And as always, it was fabulous. And I want to thank everybody for attending. I know educators at this time of year with spring breaks and testing and all of that, it's hard to get away for a little bit, but we appreciate your attendance and look forward to seeing you at another Wowzer webinar. Say that 3 times fast. So thanks again, and everybody have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.